find when I can't convince myself? Is that because I know me too well? Or is this me crying out for help? Is this because I know I'm not well? Well, I know I'm not well, but I don't know what it is with me. It's been a good while now, I'm unstable internally. I like to think I have, I don't know if it's true. What it is with me is I start thinking the moment I get a moment to. So I go about my life, saying that I'm fine. It's like I'm two people living, trapped inside my mind. Not sure which one I am, thinking who the fuck am I? Sometimes I don't know why I try, because it hurts on the inside. Because inside, I don't know who the fuck I am. Not sure if I'm fine or if I'm hoping it will be alright. Honestly, right now, I don't care if this rhymes. I'm just glad I found my reason to write again. Even though this shit be deep, best believe I'm writing with a smile again. When I grab this mic and pen, I feel so at home, like the mic has led me in a place where I'm smiling while I write this pain again. It feels so different to be so open again and actually like what I'm writing again. You see me around my people, I smile and then soon as no one knows me, that comes to an end. There doesn't seem to be a difference between family and friends, and everyone's everything. That doesn't make sense, and I can't help but feel fake. Internally and on the external, in myself and between people. Yo, like that man where his friend called, they laughed, they smiled, and after they had talked, he cut the line and back to crying. My man faked it all. But did he? Cause more time these days my smile is faked. You won't even see these fake smiles about my face, and the fact my smile was only there to get me through the day. If I didn't wear this facade, I'd be feeling a type of way. The reason you won't see it is because I stay deceiving. So the man that she was talking about, the man that she was speaking, hit me in my soul. Yo, she got me in my feelings, resonating with the meaning. Numb is what I was feeling. Goosebumped up, cause that there ran deep in like Nivea. Into your skin, I hold my words deep in. I pray knowledge about yourself, you never stop seeking. But yo, I got a question. Was that man there? On the phone fake, cause I could be around my homies, and as soon as I come away, shit's changed. My mask goes lazy. I start to deep things, cause I know I'm the type to reciprocate energy. But is that reciprocation or a mechanism to defend the inner me from the public I have hidden for so long? I guess I hid it from myself. What is happiness? Is being able to ask for help. Well, if that's the case, it's no wonder I'm still unwell. Cause believe me, I know how to speak, but believe when I say that I don't believe in me to communicate properly. What the fuck you think? That shit was never told to me. Us, we, you, him, me. And it's not like the help isn't there, it's about accessibility. Well, what does that mean? It means we need to look on the inner, see? For help to be accessible, that's subjective, because some people just aren't ready for you to give. So when you want to give, might have to give it a miss. Don't take it personally. This is bigger than you. I speak for me. I don't need to ask to know I speak for him too. But I'll ask anyway, because this conversation is something we need to propagate. Go through the motions of and say what you feel. I'm trying to be as real as I can, because I know that we need to heal where we can. For ourselves for one, but more importantly, for our generations that we've got to come. Let's not make it a case of repeating parents' mistakes. We've only got one shot in this place. Someone said, the one who plants a tree and doesn't expect to sit in the shade has only just begun to understand the meaning of life. So it's only right. But what does that tell us? It means we need to make life better for those coming after us. So men, we need to heal for our kids. Let's be real for our kids. Because if we don't, based on some of our relationships with our parents, we know how it feels.
I'm going to give it a trigger warning because there are references to sexual violence in it. If you're feeling a bit sensitive, please put your self-care first. This is called Take Power Back. I decided to take power back. And of course, it's never just as easy as that, but something in my mind is switched. Triple somersault reverse culminating in a mental backflip because I spent so long being so ashamed. Walking around with a duffel bag of things I couldn't think about or say. Tripping over myself to keep them in, to protect the grievousness of your sins. Bursting out of me through cuts on my skin because if I wouldn't say it, trauma always finds another way to display it. But now, I'm taking the power back. And I know it might sound conceited, but I'm ready to step into my destiny and embrace who I was always meant to be before all you could see of me was the damage that was done when I was too small to fend off the brutality of your attacks. Because there's nothing you can say that I haven't already heard or thought, so tear me down, rip at the safety I've installed, because I will just find my way back out in the dark. Like I've been doing since the very start. But then I thought, well, why be good enough when you can be the best? Is it because you're afraid of failing? Or are you more afraid of being a success? Do you ever imagine what the world would look like without you in it? Do you think about the people you have touched without ever even knowing it? Knowing that our reality starts with the words, I am, so it's up to you to decide what you manifest with the language that you have. And me, I'm just offering you my reflection of the world as I've seen it, in the hope that it will inspire and act as some kind of beacon, because I might still shit myself every time I come up and perform, but 5 years ago I wouldn't speak up in a crowded room. Because for years, I ate my feelings, and I hid myself under layers of fat and flesh, in the hope that by making myself bigger, I'd make myself somehow easier to protect. But in my shame, I buried that light that shone inside of me, thinking safer meant being less seen. But I refuse anymore to cower and hide. My sensuality is not an excuse for your crime. And if you want to come at me now and tell me how I look like a whore, tell me, how was I too provocative when I was only 6 years old? Monsters rarely look like monsters. Isn't that clever by design? Keep us busy watching out for myths and stories while predators walk among us in plain sight. And I know we're all just products of our environment and everyone's doing the best they can, but at what point do you take responsibility for the decisions you make as an independent woman or man? So I come here today with my fears all still intact, in the hope of making a connection through my words, till you can know me better for my acts. And even Yoda couldn't penetrate Anakin's projections. He inflated to protect himself from the fears his mind fixated. But I'm starting to get that connection between my mind, my body, and my skin, which for years disassociated to avoid any kind of communication. But I'm ready to embrace the divine feminine that was beaten out of me by those afraid of a woman's sexuality. Because the goddess has been stirred, and she is restless to rise and leave behind the defenses she used before to hide. Because I'm a triple Aries, fire dragon, Celtic goddess, Pharaonic queen, so they had good reason to fear the power this body conceals. Thank you very much.
Okay, so this is called Bodies. Rationally, I know that our bodies take all forms, but images on social media platforms misinformed, constructing norms that are unreal. Creating pressures to conform, technical filters that polish skin, making people look thin, unachievable figures, leaving others bewildered. Rationally, I know that however much I swim, torture myself at the gym, however many inches I trim, I will still look in the mirror and feel grim. In comparison, I will never be slim or look like them. Those girls whom all clothes fit, wearing fashion that their lean builds permit, their young skin sunlit, their life looking perfect, leaving me feeling unworthy. Rationally, I know that my body is amazing, that it is life-creating, child-raising, that it has survived invasions and abrasions and violations. It has been used like a plaything, the trauma it stored, the life still endured, but for years ignored. But now it has peace restored and it needs praising. Rationally, I know that I am more than my shape. When the surface you scrape and find strength and beauty within, the real worth escapes. When you follow the wrinkles and creases, the life stories releases with each lump and scar, you can see how far this body has travelled, revelled, unravelled, it has overcome battles. Rationally, I know I'm in my middle ages, but it says I'm nearly 50, I'm 50 now, but yeah. Rationally, I know that I'm in my middle ages, but I am 50. I can never be as nifty as a model in a magazine pages. The reality is that even when younger, I was affected by this. See, the issue is a difficult one. Embedded in our psyches, a war that has never been won. Causes girls to grow up thinking they are not enough. So they eat and throw up. So they cake on makeup, add an extra sized cup, thicken lips, or wear a bra that pushes up. But far more damage is done when value is put on beauty alone. All seems natural and fun to focus on a nice booty or a little cutie, I get it. But we have a moral duty to look past the superficial, the body's artificial, and do something beneficial. Irrationally, I looked up diets, followed fads, created plans that made me mad. I took up regimes that are unsustainable to achieve goals that were untenable. Worse, I put up with behaviours indefensible and indignities inexpressible, thinking I could not be loved unless this flab was correctable. But now, I see the value in me. I have reached an age where I can break out of that cage, and as I embrace and love these crinkles and curves, self-doubt swerves. I have self-worth, a spiritual rebirth. Don't take as long as me to love the skin you're in. You are all beautiful, whether black, brown, round or thin. Enjoy your perfect imperfections, they are unique to you. Never forget you deserve love, and that the love from within, the only love that's true, can only come from you.
Yeah. I've never done this before. Right, this is a poem called The Obelisk, and it goes out to all those mothers out there. And obelisks are very large pieces of stone, one very large united pieces of stone. That is the obelisk, and that is me. We are the obelisks of our families, our role as ancient as the Sphinx. We stand at the thresholds of our domestic temples. We are the obelisks of our families, the rays of aged sun disk origin. We radiate light into the darkness of our days. We are the featherers and furnishers of our nests. We are the coolers of fevered brows. We are the calmers of tortured souls. We are the feeders of hungry mouths. We are the menders of fractured moments. We are the storekeepers of memories. We are the nurturers of life forces. We are the comforters in troubled times. We are the listeners, the absorbers. We are porous, but we do not erode. Still, we stand. We iron out the creases of the human fabric. We wash clean the dirt from gathered misunderstandings. We nourish the impoverished and weakened spirits. We hoover up
the instabilities and insecurities. We dust the cobwebs from the corners of our precious domains. We labour to share the burden financial. We paper and paint the creeping cracks. We make do with little understanding of our monolithic endeavours. We are the punch bags, the absorbers. We are porous, yet we do not erode. Still, we stand. The obelisk, they say, a metaphoric phallus. No, I say, we are the obelisks of our families. We are the cornerstones of our domestic temples. We are the ones who remain upright, erect. We are the ones that have the balls to weather the squalls and the falls for all our survivals.
So yesterday I went on Twitter. They have this new feature called Twitter Space. So I joined this discussion called Labour versus Tory. And I listened to a Tory describe how he wasn't a racist whilst being racist. So I wrote this poem in first person of a racist person. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. I am not a racist. See, I have a black friend and I have been to Africa. I just have opinions. We all ought to. It's the cornerstone of a civilized society. I don't think I'm superior to you. I just think my way is better, and if only I could teach it to you. You would agree. Oh, what was that? You don't agree? Well, you don't need to be afraid. Come, I will teach you to be free. Wait, what was that? You think my freedom looks like bombs, tanks, and drones? Oh no, that's only what we do to those who don't recognize our throne. Don't you see that I'm trying to help you? My savior skin has come to coerce you. Just like a parent who does what is best for a child that doesn't know any better. Let me console you. Why don't you take that thing off your head? Maybe you don't agree because it prevented you from hearing everything I just said. I'm not a racist, I promise. I just want you to be happy without the burden of the rag you prepare. See how you turn it around and around until it drapes over you? I want to uncover it until its mark completely escapes from my view. See, I am not a racist, I just think you aren't free, and freedom is something only I can decree. I think we all ought to have opinions, but yours seem too extreme. If you don't celebrate the politicians that killed your ancestors, left them feeding off the dead, if you don't like the faces of slave owners adorned in your stead, why do you protest the streets bloodied with the names of those who raped the women from whose wombs you alone? This anger you feel is just your anti-liberal cologne. Untangle your mother tongue and hear me lie about how your forefathers considered this their mother country. You must integrate and reiterate how you don't agree with terrorists. Prove you are one of us, but don't forget your passport can be taken at the snap of a drug. Of course it doesn't apply if you're white. Come on now, I thought you said you were bright. I am not a racist. I just think you use racism to get a free ride for life. You should be sweeping my backyard in benefits you've been running rife. I am not a racist. I just define your entire existence for you, ignore your voice, and teach you how not to be oppressed. You see, we all ought to have opinions, but no, not you. Yours are too extreme. Thank you.
Hi guys, so it's December 10 and this is my friend's birthday, but unfortunately she passed away about 10 years ago. So this poem is dedicated to her. Like a feather. When angels die, they leave their wings behind. And if heaven was so kind to return you to me, after they're done showing you around, looking into puddles of sunlight and reflected puddles, looking into pools of sunlight and reflected puddles, to look for signs I can never see. For your face looking back at me. I have got your feather, you left me one. I take it you haven't got back to me because you're having too much fun. You used to be light as a feather, ready and willing to face anything and everything in any weather. Playing in the pavement, picking at the grass, racing ants and playing cards, minding broken glass and in shards. You never worried about your appearance until other girls started wearing earrings, and you begged me to come with you to get your ears pierced. Hear this. I heard Dawn's got a baby on the way. Sorry. And your parents are wishing that it wasn't true. But she told me that if it was a girl, that she'd name it after you. Like a feather, you would float on down, climbing the ladder through my window, never making a sound, interrupting the CD spinning, playing your own track, in the mirror singing, jumping on my back, coming down for breakfast with a napkin in your lap, greeting my mum morning, bringing the paper rounds, until you get a boyfriend, then I'd never see you now. Sunday morning, hearing my name called from the street, saying you'd been in a row and that you could never live it down. It doesn't matter, angel eyes. Your tears could put out the sun in the sky. You used to be light as a feather, now your spirit's in the wind, and your soul lives forever, growing itself new wings, flying, rolling, singing, riding in a cloud, climbing through my window like a feather floating down. Mom misses your voice, so I play her CD, the CD that you made. I'm missing your voice, the times I feel mellow, playing tag between parked cars and listening to echoes. It's coming up to noon and I'm stopping by your place, checking on Dawn and the baby, saying your name, knocking on the door, coming to see you soon. Like a feather. Thank you.
Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Peace and bless. Give thanks to one and all. This is an untitled thing, roughly titled Raise Our House. Come, take a bite at the apple, on the road less traveled. It's not the smooth beaten path, it's full of stones and gravel. The beast, hold and grab you, baton blows and drag you. A free mind's a crime, doing their most to mad you knowledge. The oldest battle, we were sold as chattel, rustled and rebranded like stolen cattle. Our youths play with guns like they holding rattles. Now the sons of our sons may never know the value of life and its joy when being cold is casual, from the dirt to the dust when last you hold a handful. Being a man ain't about when your soldiers back you, it's standing alone against armies on broken ankles. Nowhere to run, no heart to hold your hand to. It's all an illusion made to expose and trank you. Life is short. How many moments have you? Be a guiding light even though no one thanks you. Rise up, open your eyes up. Look to the sun, it won't burn or blind us. We came through the filter of the glory that's behind us. Concreted in the wrong streets confined us. When stats for crimes up, try put me and mine up. Try define us as step forward from the lineup. The mill of God is slow in the grind up. Most deny the most high till they find dust. When you chime in, chime up, or shut your blood clot pipe up. Stop moaning, life's tough. We made of divine stuff.
Yes.
Crabs in a barrel, help each other climb up. Ascend to the highest heights that we might touch. The sunrise on the horizon, righteous. Each one of us is unique, and there's no one like us. You can forever find us in search of silence, amid the agitation to separate and divide us. This trial by fire forged and tried us, tempered our resolve to a gemstone inside us. Stone beside us, whose shine is the brightest, in his image and likeness, in every antiquitous script, to remind us triumph is our state of refinement, no matter where we are or how cold the climate. This fire in our bellies took guts to ignite, thus we burn through the apathy of saying that life sucks. I.am.shaheed, all capitals.
So this poem is called A Night to Catch, and it's about the first open mic that I ever did. So I'm wondering if some of you will relate. Just a bit of fun. Last night I did my first open mic night. The kind of thing to give you a fright. Like forgetting your knickers and your swimming pool bra. Or peeping off a cliff to see a drop quite far. Well, it's okay, because the crowd were kind and clappy and good. And we each spoke for 5 minutes. I know it's 49. That's the timing, understood. I read a whole 3 poems, and the lighting was bright. It was strange to keep the words and the mic inside. And the story and the flowing and the breathing was hard, but the tying up together is what makes a good bard. When I sat down after sharing and the clapping along, for some seconds there was reflecting and a peaceful sense that's strong. The caring, but not caring. The sharing, but in rhyme. The happiness in knowing it's been fun and we all shined. I scooched along to Tesco for some after-party snacks, and we was taken like a teenager to Ben & Jerry crack. Chocolate fudge, chicken curry, party treats for my tummy. Mango Rubicon to wash it down. Classy meal for one in Dalston, London town. Pudding first for sugar high. Egg fried rice piled high. Girl on checkout, earrings perfect. Diamond, sapphire, square, squirting. Bag for life on handlebars. Trying not to chase the cars. Riding home, meet barking dog, owner brushing teeth on log. Stay off pavement like I should, bump back on when home for good. Bag for life has bottomed out. Make your own, these bashnats shall. Scoop them up, we're all intact. Taking vow, a night to catch.
Yeah, my name is Nesu. It's nice to be here for my second time. So, yeah, and this poem that I'm about to perform is called Maybe. Maybe I can be him with the big biceps, lean triceps, strong forehand, and quick sidestep. Or maybe I can be him with the designer clothes, fresh cologne, and latest iPhone. Or maybe I can be him with the crazy grades, sleeping my way into easy A's. Or maybe I can be him. After all, it can be dangerous to walk around in this brown skin. But as I plan to vacate this premises, this move will make me happy. To leave a well-furnished home of divine architecture for another, and perhaps be resident there for some time and move again when what's in season leaves me leaving once again. I've never thought of suicide. I swear I never did. But to exchange myself for someone else is not a different thing. To assassinate myself and then expect to live again? To admire the beauty outside and neglect the one within? Why can't I just be me? Why can't I just be free? Why can't I be exactly who God created me to be? Me? Yes, me! Woven in the womb so intricately. To reflect my creator so immaculately. To be one of a kind, like a delicacy. Fearfully and wonderfully made. But what if I'm way too short? Is it okay as a man to be 5'4"? To be confident sometimes, but also insecure at others? Or is that illegal? Am I allowed to share my weaknesses with people? Or should I pretend like I'm perfect, like I'm always strong, always secure, never hurting? Listen, I think I'll just be honest, because I've lived a lie before and I know that the cost is way, way, way too expensive. Keeping up appearances and erecting fences. I'm no stranger to the pain and pressure of pretenses. This was all until the artist showed up and showed me how beautiful his art is, until he wooed me and subdued me with his love, which is unconditional and more than enough. So listen, if you don't like my funky pants and dancing to Afro beats, or my love for Sherlock Holmes, board games, and broccoli, it's okay if you can't handle me. It's it's okay if you can't handle me. You can always use a fan to cope with all the heat. 'Cause you're So if you don't like my funky fans, and my dancing to Afro beats, or my love for Sherlock Holmes and board games and broccoli, it's okay. I don't blame you if you can't handle me. You can always use a fan to go with all the heat. And you're not supposed to be the only authority of what is nice to hear or what is nice to see. And your compliments were never meant to complete me. Only he, because subjectivity is subjectivity, not objectivity. And you're beautiful like you, is what he said to me. So maybe I should just be me and let my light shine bright for all to see. So this is me. Being me, living out my own fearfully and wonderfully made. Thank you.
Greetings, everyone. So many faces. Happy Christmas. Monologue with love. I wish to be a color of sunset, a wisp of white clouds, the translucence of a pool through which you shine like sunlight, only to cradle the purity of my intentions. Sometimes when one falls into a swamp, one gradually sinks deeper, as if in a field of quicksand. Yet you're always there, my rescuer. You're my Everest, steep, wriggle, majestic, hard to ascend, and yet my core rejoices from the effort in knowing that I can only improve by learning to maneuver in these Everglades you created for my progress. The charisma in your smile draws me inwards. My breath becomes suspended and I'm intoxicated by the sweet wine of thy lips, we both merging with such tenderness, knowing that we have always been together, me, a long-lost prodigal, now finding my way home. Without you, I'm like a camel beneath the sun, with no oasis within my desert, helpless. Helpless am I, alone in an arid no man's land. A baby bird unable to fly, just because love, the alchemist, is still shaping the wings I so badly need to soar into the awakening of your tomorrow's golden sunrise. I am a puny toad, learning to croak in the reeds of lakes, undeserving of the elegance of swans. Clams drifting beneath the corals of aquamarine seabeds are incomparable to priceless gems. Sweet Shyama, what have I done to become so worthy of thy light? Why do you adorn this lowly servant in this magical tapestry of peacock feathers? No sweat. Let me strive to continue to paint myself like Da Vinci's Mona, shine like the moon with the glory of the Sistine Chapel. One day I hope to bend like the tree, offering your fruits and flowers to my kindred spirits. I hope to become a peerless moonlight without complaint, dine at the banquet of celestial nymphs. Then will my breath be sanctified, blowing your bugle of victory, bedecked in the robes of the beloved one. Lend me the breeze, so I sleep on its lap like lovers, knowing we will soar together in the gateways of the eternal. The bliss I seek lies not in the seeking, for I'm not only the drop in the ocean, but the ocean in the drop. Those who know not my heart will ne'er know of its longing, neither the profundity of my soul, and of how much its tears flow in scarlet red, longing to be reunited with its heavenly source of unspoken sweetness. Come, my beloved Shyama, come, embrace me in the mellifluous wine of thy golden silence. Lantern Kelly.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, y'all.
We have a trilogy of poems. One theme, men expressing platonic love to other men. And I'll introduce each poem individually, so there's a little backstory to each. The first one is called Tomorrow, and it was written in memory of the legendary MC and producer Ty, who passed away from COVID last year. Peer through a wormhole, blink of an eye, interstellar, arrival. Formatted scripts only give a glimpse, sci-fi like possibilities, lifetime neglect, love left lacking, heart yearns for a tomorrow drenched in love and acceptance. Gaslit past, self-esteem burns at 451 Fahrenheit, made in 1981, swaddled in kerosene-soaked rags. Flash forward, and consent is a foreign concept. Trust betrayed, innocence sullied, mixologist blends neurodiversity. Add a dash of lime, ice optional, blend, deadly cocktail, bitter aftertaste. Flashback, failed cricket test. Flash forward, cricket is communion. A people forever held back, given respite through victory at Lord's. Love gestates at home. Nervously, I plan my future. Flash further forwards. Pull pins from grenades. Walk away. A revolutionary act of self-love. More will follow. Flashback. A love of 35mm, 2-inch reels in the word suppressed. Self-love lacking. A decade-long detour. Love rediscovered. No mean feat. Breadline diets can leave your spirit gaunt-like. Present time. Love, ambition, hope, quarantined but not secluded, nurtured, nursing the loss of an awkward boy who told me to look upwards. Studying his legacy, I edge closer to a brighter tomorrow. Peering into the wormhole, I can see it. My stories travel far and wide, new youths enthralled by the tale of a godfather now departed, the cycle of intergenerational trauma finally broken. A new cycle begins, my heart finally sings. Thank you. The next one's called Lifeboat, and this one's about my close uncle who, he passed away from COVID an hour after I jumped on stage at the last Poetics. So, yeah, it's still out there. Throw yourself on grenades, modelling love in a time when people tell, don't show. Your absence, hard to ignore. Show, don't tell. Love your narrative. Painful plot twist, premature farewells. My hopeful optimism, your hardened cynicism, met in the middle, creating a lifeboat. Icebergs are meant to submerge. Together, we broke the cycle. Thank you. And this final one's dedicated to a friend who is still here, luckily. And I think, yeah, I've been realising a lot lately that I've not been doing a great job of expressing or letting people know how I feel about them. So this friend is someone who's been giving very generously to me, and I figured I'd write something for him, and it's literally named after him, Paul. Frame by frame, you patiently explain it all to me. Blocking, lighting, magic, reversals, sequences, beats, scenes, fractals. Even when my cognitive challenges eat into your day and night, you fold time, sprinkle it with generous dustings of love. You plant me down, blindfold me, have me find middle C with the purpose of unlocking the song in my heart. Love is seeing in others what they don't see in themselves, then showing them that. James Baldwin levels of unconditional love. Give, 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 until you're dry. Your patient tutelage comes full circle. I watch memories unfold on a screen. The memories we share are never forgotten. My prayer for you, to forge memories inked in love. I want the ink to flow freely, freewheeling past the margins, bursting off of each page you scribe. Thank you.
Can you all hear me okay?
Yeah.
So I'm holliedee, I go by holliedee.poetry on social media. This piece I've written quite recently. I've just been really angry and I thought I would channel it into a poem. So just as a bit of background, I've been frustrated at the government, the ultra wealthy, how they work together and leave us all down here, behind. So this piece, I hope you like it, is called Policing. Don't tell me it's for our safety. Policing is for keeping us in check. It's to stop us from questioning society's constructs, potentially causing a political wreck. Don't tell me it's for our safety. Policing is for keeping us contained. Don't dream too big, go smoke a cig, mental health unsupported and unsustained. Why the policing of opinion, the policing of free speech, that policing of all the sits that kept your loved ones out of reach, the policing of small businesses being forced to close, the policing of religions and their choice of prayer and clothes, the policing of refugees fleeing famine and war, the policing of homeless sleeping outside a sheltered door, the policing of protests to silence our voice, the policing of vaccinations denouncing our choice, the policing of women's bodies, the policing of free choice. In some countries they police poetry, preventing the silence from being voiced. Why the policing of fungus and plants like magic mushrooms and weed? I think it's interesting scientific backing can't wave the government's greed, but I guess they have free labour in prisons where we know minority drug offenders really should win freed and Big Pharma can't make money off plant medicine until they can trademark a seed. They haven't yet, but anyone want to place a bet? It won't be long before they do and place the most needy in even more debt. Then the policing of people on benefits the billionaires. No one up their cares or damage the new cuts or policy fares. They might as well ask the wheelchair user to start using the fucking stairs. Because they don't touch those with money, they're too busy protecting and lining each other's pockets. They hope there's consumerism, rose-tinted glasses, keep your blinkered eyes in their sockets. So we don't question why they're keeping the rules lax and not policing the billionaires' tax. But they'll continuously review and cut my brother's disability benefits, let my friend struggle nursing on minimum wage, they screwed over my mates during COVID who all work self-employed on the stage. What stage is Branson and Bezos at with their rocket race to space? I hope they look down and realise we're all surviving in a dark age, no one's got time to look up at their tax break cock extensions, the world isn't their legal time. It would really make a difference if they chose to engage and with that wealth turn over a new humanitarian page. And dear government, don't tell me you can't help. You had the power to shut the world down, force everyone inside their homes, fed them propaganda news masked up on their mobile phones. Let me tell you, there's been a shift. And we have the power to highlight your mistakes, call you out on your bullshit, it's time to raise the stakes. Let's take a look at preferential treatment, contracts for your mates, and lobbying to start the ripple effect of suffering your causes, tearing communities and families apart. And whilst you're worrying about how many seats in Parliament your party own, myself and the entire female identifying population are worrying about our safety, simply walking home. The problem is you set that bar high for abusing your patriarchal power. Now some of the police are following your example and it's even a taste that's pretty sour. Monkey see, monkey do, corruption makes me think of you, your government is in a state, we've got royals bailing out, mate. Women killed by men makes me cry as people in power continuously lie. Climate crisis at an all-time high, there's more and more chemtrails up in the sky and billions of animals are farmed only to die. Then there's plastic polluting all the seas, deforestation killing all our trees, poisonous chemicals annihilating the bees, all because you want to up your profit and your fees. Jeez. Review your policing, please. Holliedee. Thank you.
I'm working on a bit of an intro piece at the minute, so I'm going to just do it to introduce myself. East End born, bow. Arrows can't hunt this hunger, no. Spoon-fed on slang, weaned on words, wisdom words, curlywordy. I'm going to work on that a little bit more, and I've got a few new pieces in the new year, but I'm just going to share. I don't know what to share with you. I've had a weird week. Yeah, I don't know what to share really, but sorry, yeah, it is a bit low.
Sorry. Something like microphone.
This last 12 months I've written a lot of poems about healing and overcoming stuff that I never got to voice as a child. And I was someone that learned the skill of detachment very well, and I've come to realising that I did myself out of a lot of crying over the years, you know. But so yeah, I've focused a lot on kind of trauma and healing this year, and next year there's going to be a kind of different focus to the stuff I'm writing. But I might just share my last one, which is called Mark My Words, with you as an elf. Okay. Face it. Face up. Mark my words, because back then my face couldn't speak up. I was angry with their mind's eye. This girl, the little me, traded in coordinates. Navigating my way around places was never my forte. But I could mind map my way around most faces. Too young. Young enough that I read what the mind could see or not see beyond. Beyond me, the third degree. But to some degree, you'd have been forgiven for not seeing past it. Because back then, I couldn't see past it. Took it on the chin, that small unit of me, mean angles, calculated divisions on self-esteem. Full steam ahead. Perpendicular to my eye line, I was more than that 90 degree. I had to do a 360 before I understood the trigonometry. Bullets travelled twice the speed of sound. Sonic word ammunition boomed out. It's what's on the outside that counts. Residue, fermented, brain barrel, barren land. If the wind changes, your face could stay like that. Hopscotch into those verbal gallows, infant hardware computed the beauty. It's only skin shadow. Chin gazing at my Orion, that plump red skin. Part of my facial constellation, built in. So no, aloe vera and vitamins did not get rid of it. I didn't fall over, it wasn't a scab, burn, cut or chin bite from some random lad. I'm not related to Gorbachev and I wasn't Picasso's muse. My mother didn't eat too many strawberries and it's not a past life wound. Not judged by the hue of my skin, but it felt like I was in court for the colour of my chin. Curious walls blew my house of mirrors. Inner beauty held on. See, I wanted to be seen, but not seen. Shell suit sorcerers shelling out names when I just wanted to play out, drink case cider and be involved in teenage games, virago valor on that battlefield, singled out self, saw how others saw her. Self-fulfilling prophecy. But you see, you can't prophesize me. New prophecy is all fulfilling. Because what I really seesawed at that pivotal point was a spot the difference game to make my stain feel like a cardinal sin when it was a cardinal gem. Carbon matched to your oxygen produced poison, no curtain call on this Cleopatra. My new mantra? The looking glass is not preordained. Outer plate glass may have been chipped, but real reflections are born in dark, calm waters, obsidian, my smoky depths, and you'll see the inner mirrors travel. Port stained, starboard left, virtuous cargo caress the little self under duress. I felt like the gods had something to confess. Blood vessels didn't wash off, but then real beauty doesn't wash off. These days, I like to think of my birthmark as a distinctively hallmarked ruby. This ruby sees in the dark, fluoro, fire, life force, gamma ray light source, built my inner bioluminescence. In essence, I reset the story. I'd always champion the girl with a cherry chin. But after a gin, I tell people I've got a ruby hemmed in my South Pole. My aurora lights proved I've got warrior soul. Rubies are the stuff of love and passion. Some say in the East, it's a drop of heart blood from Mother Earth. So I could concur that I was blood kissed by the mother of all earths at my birth. Purified plasma mind in my earth's crust. The earth births, all that is us. After 2 gins, I'm convinced I'm related to Buddha. Facial geodesy all wrong, but my all-seeing earner sits firmly south of my facial equator. Laser came later when I'd really had enough of all eyes on chin. What's that on her face? By the power of the NHS, doctor in shining armour, a he-man fit to fight mighty mangioma. Unlocked my karmic persona. See, I saw myself more as a Mufasa, but others saw Scar, but not all scars mark out villains. Next time you permanently remark, sorry. I saw myself more as a Mufasa, others saw Scar, but remarks permanently mark a person's heart. And next time you visibly hate on someone's face, recalibrate. Don't defecate and deface their wallpaper. Paint a different picture. There's no deficit in difference. Be the difference, and remember, a compliment goes a long way. So, and finally, when people looked up at the canopy of my face, soul stare, eyes met eyes, sorry. And finally, when people looked up at the canopy of my face, eyes met eyes, soul stare. Equinox, down came those facial fault knots, no longer blocking people's gazes. I have phases, but still eye contact is so very special to me. Come, swim, synchronise, eye sink into me. The longer you're there, the more you'll discover that I'm a ruby amongst the beads. Natural born rubies have flaws and inclusions, and I'm all for inclusion. Maybe mazes take time to master, a maze in my ecology, linger in my labyrinth, and you'll see that there's nothing quite as powerful as the capillaries that pumped power into me. Thank you. Very well.
Good evening, greetings. So, this is a brand new piece.
New shit.
A couple of days ago, a week ago. And one of the things I pride myself on is the amount of new stuff that I do write. And this year I've written quite a lot of new poetry. Trigger warning, disclaimer, this piece deals with issues of racism, prejudice and stereotyping. But as poets, we are in the business of words, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. So this is my poetic exploration of a particular word, and what I'm inviting you to do is to see past the word and listen to the message. P-A-K-I. Paki. Let me give you a second. Yeah, that's right. I am South Asian, I am Pakistani. More specifically, my great-grandmother was from Yaqub in Lahore, and my dad was actually born in Nairobi, but his ancestry is Kashmiri. But never mind the intricacies or specifics, just easier to label us all as Paki. I speak with a South London accent. I graduated from LSE with a law degree, but I also speak fluent Urdu and Punjabi. I never learned to make perfectly round rotis, but I do make a delicious purgagar. You know that yellow, creamy, nourishing dish? I believe you know it as lentils? Before Jamie Oliver told you otherwise. Go back to where you came from, Paki. You don't belong here. Go back to Paki land where you all wear towels on your head and speak funny. P-A-K-I. Yes, I am that Pakistani Lahori Kashmiri Kuri from the land of 24 karat gold, tablas and sitars. From the land of 1,000 colours, rich language and spices of music and song and poetry and deep history. From the morning azan to the breathtaking architecture of the Moors. From the minarets that stand tall in the sky, from the land of the crescent moon and the star. From the bustling streets of the Anargali Bazaar to the mountains and lakes of Bashar. Don't you think that our motherland calls us with every beat of our heart, where our lineage dictates we were landowners, farmers, artisans, healers, alchemists, inventors, philosophers, writers, leaders and clans of villages. Leaders of clans and villages. I am from the land of the cinnamon spice that you order in your £3.25 chai latte. Of honey mangoes, pomegranates and imbli, but I guess it's all just tamarind for you. Go back to where you came from, Paki. Oh. Do you mean back to the land where my grandparents were born? The same beautiful land that you raped and pillaged and lived on like kings and queens in the time of the Raj and the exploitative British Empire? Go back home, Paki. You're just immigrants taking all our jobs. You're not from here, you're not English. But wait a minute. Check the lineage of your very own royal family and you will struggle to find English in it. I mean, if you were born here and have a British passport, then you are by law and definition British. But the brown in our melanin means that even technicalities won't save you because your face does not fit. I mean, time and time again, we prove that immigrants get the jobs done. Especially the ones that you don't want to do. And you have the audacity to call our lands third world countries. And yet it's our civilizations that gave you the divine knowledge, resources, infrastructure, recipes, medicine and ways of life that made it possible for you to build your tiny island of famine and potatoes into one of the leading economies in the world.
Indian and Chinese commerce are coming for you. Ever check the labels on the clothes on your back? How many times have you seen made in Bangladesh? The next time you put the kettle on to make a cuppa, you know, every time you have a minor life crisis and you say, come on, let's have a cup of tea, it'll make it all better. Remember where your precious tea comes from. And the hands that picked the tea leaves from the sun-baked fields, and no, it wasn't PG Tips, Tetley or Typhoon. Your tea is mainly grown in Asia and Africa. The 4 biggest tea-producing countries today are China, India, Sri Lanka and Kenya. Also, you can add your milk and sugar into what tastes like dishwater, but you don't even know how to brew the tea properly.
Say it again.
So you can add your milk and sugar into what tastes like dishwater because you don't even know how to brew the tea properly, so keep your afternoon tea and scones. I would rather have a proper cup of chai with the sweetness of cardamom and a heady blend of cinnamon, ginger, star anise and cloves. See, the East India Company Limited describe themselves as a timeless shop with a history dating back to the 1600s selling fine teas, and their website will have you believe they discovered trade routes that went on to benefit the countries they stole from. Most boldly, they say they shaped Britain's dining tables through the introduction of exotic ingredients and flavours. What a whitewashed, convenient history they portray. To put it in simpler words, they made sure they took every last resource and asset before they ripped a line in the land and called it partition. But how many bodies were taken just to line their pockets? Okay, that's enough about tea for now, let's move on. So the nights of 2 a.m. when you drunkenly stumble into the late night chicken or kebab shop after drinking your body weight in alcohol, it's my brown brothers who stay working till late to satisfy your need for hot tasty food, and you're not telling us to go home then, are you? And you casually say, oi boss, give me fries and no onions, yeah? Only you don't say boss man in an endearing way, because the irony of what you say and how you say it is loaded with the vernacular of give me what I want and do what I say. Like brown people were put on this earth to be subservient and serve the white privilege, like no matter how much we do and how much we achieve, we will always be the chaiwalas, the butlers, the dry cleaners, the corner shop owners. You've got it all wrong. Because your entitlement means that you steal everything as your own idea, when the truth is you don't have a clue. Kama Sutra, ours. Kundalini Yoga, ours. Periodic fasting for detoxifying your body, ours. Finest silks, ours. Caring for elderly family members and keeping them at home, not putting them in retirement homes, yeah, that's us Packies. See, we value our elders and respect them, we're just funny like that. They say it takes a village, but most of you don't even know who your own neighbour is. See, like henna has been a tradition and ritual in our culture going back hundreds of years, but it only became trendy when Madonna put it in one of her music videos, and men wearing sarongs was okay when endorsed by David Beckham, but dhotis were frowned upon as primitive. And drinking golden milk became all the rage when you discovered turmeric as a superfood. I mean, that's so last century. P-A-K-I, saffron smugglers, rogue traders, £1 fish sellers. P is for Paki. P is not just for pakoras and paratas and poppadoms. P is for the phenomenal, peaceful, poised perfection, patience personified, precipitation, pornography, painting, photography, philosophy, photosynthesis, party, pop music, Pythagoras rule. I'm just reading out words that begin with P. My point is, Paki doesn't belong in the dictionary. When you go to your local for a Ruby Murray, you never recognise the flawless rubies of diversity, because you don't even know the difference between Lahori, Punjabi, Hindustani, Hyderabadi or Mirpuri. It's just all curry, right? You go to order your Rogan Josh or your vindaloo because you like a spicy curry. Oh, and some of that naan bread and biryani, and Steve's a veggie, so he'll have sagaloo, or what's that aloo gobi? Learn to elongate your A's. It's Sag Aloo. Just like it's Pakistan, not Pakistan. And don't tell me Paki is just an abbreviation. It's a racial slur that rolls off your tongue just as easily as terrorist. Paki. I own the P and the A and the K and the I. Yes, I'm that Paki with the nose ring and the vinyl collection of old school hip hop. Yes, I'm that Paki who carries the legacy of my ancestry and history. Yes, I'm that Paki that harbours my grandmother's sacrifice and wisdom. Yes, I'm that Paki who has a big vocabulary. Yes, I'm that Paki that stands proud and upright with a story to tell. Yes, I am that Paki you can't silence because I'm not afraid to use my voice. And yes, I am that Paki who will flip your script and change the negative labels and narratives. Yes, I am that Paki with mad rhythm, and I can wind my waist with the best of them. Yes, I am that Paki who is articulate, intelligent, and assertive. Yes, I am that Paki who has read the Bible, the Torah, and the Guru Granth Sahib, as well as the Quran, because we are al-Qadar. Yes, I am that Paki with short hair that doesn't care. Yes, I'm that Paki on a mission, an imperialist's worst nightmare, but I am my ancestors' wildest dreams. Thank you.
Evening, everybody. So lovely to see you all.
Fire.
This first one's called Insight. When their foreheads touched, third eyes winked. Caught sight of each other is insight, but since love is blind, they didn't see it coming. Even though they were looking out of the windows of each other's soul, call it intuition, longing for the world, seeing but not sure whether they want to be seen. The curtains of reality can be drawn so easily. Perception paints a portrait of a promising passion, but art captures moments like these. Smiling so wide, their eyes closed naturally. They never needed to kiss, because their lips touching would interrupt the kaleidoscope of this relationship. You see, the tongue is one of the strongest muscles, and yet used in the loosest of ways. Tongues aren't trapped, they trail the route of mouths. Yes, conversations have ceilings too, built on the foundations of frivolous energy. Thank you. So this second one, it's a poem about how certain cultures have preferences to have a baby boy. And so the poem is called To Have a Boy. To have a boy is to pick the numbers of a lottery ticket, to play roulette with your destiny, put it all on red or black and still win, hoping that this boy can fix any problem that came your way. To have a boy is a numbers game, one where they are outnumbered but ruled by majority. To have a boy is to watch a bigger celebration in pregnancy. A mother, simply a portal to which the prince can prepare his kingdom, breathing in the air knowing he already is one. So whether his delivery takes place in a master bedroom or not, he has already mastered the art of taking up space. To have a boy is to call him king. To have a boy is for the world to be blue, like the waters that make up the earth, it knows how to dominate too. To have a boy is to have every mode of transport and travel at a speed that a girl could only wish to catch. To have a boy is to rush with adrenaline, to have adventures and exploration to reaching the heights that girls don't even know the depth of. To have a boy is to do half the work for double the pay and still complain. I love how you lot sound like it, but to have a to be both flammable and fireproof. Thank you. This one's called Fall. I understand why you fell. Of course you would see things like that, especially if no one had suggested looking at things in a different way. I saw the depth, how you dug deep within yourself to give to someone else. I saw how you reached other levels. I understand that there's a lot of potential, that for every lack there was a replacement. I understand the flaws and how that can make someone seem perfect. I saw. I mean it when I say I understand. Sometimes when you find yourself in another, you lose yourself along the way. But convinced you found yourself another person. Thank you for recognizing that there was someone there who traveled to the bottom of the foundation of who you are just to see the pressure that you were under. To become the diamond that you are. They can call you both blind and visionary, but I see you for who you truly are. Thank you. I love people. I love people, especially the ones that try to be different. I love people who listen more than they talk, but also brave enough to say what they want to say, to break a cycle, to confront others, even if it makes them cry. I love people who stop and listen, to understand, who treat you equally. There are days that feel like magic and days that seem anything but with people like that around, it doesn't really matter. I like people who show you that it's worth it. The time, the energy, the effort. These people who really show you what love is. It makes us happier because it feels like the good days will outweigh the bad simply because the right people are around you. Thank you. I wrote this piece after the campaign for November as a kind of allyship to all of the men. I saw a statistic, I think it was an article about, and the campaign was, I think it was an advert that was said, can you imagine all of the men in your life just disappearing? And my heart sank. And I thought, you know what, suicide among men, because of the statistics being so high, I felt like we need to show the men in our lives some more love. So this is called I Love Men. I love men. I hope that's not an over-the-top statement, but I love men who help, who listen, actually hear what you have to say, not to respond, but to acknowledge your point. I love men who want to break cycles, who do everything they can to try to consciously be different from their father, their brothers, their friends, and even people that they work with. I love men who feel comfortable enough that they can show you a different side of themselves. I love men who cry. I love men who understand, who are there to build people up. I love men who have that place in your life. There is no end to you. We are here for your magic, all of the magic that makes you a man. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Shout out to all the men in the room. This poem's called After the Happily Ever After. I saw a statistic, it was on, I think again it was another news article about how women disappear after something happy, after they go through a happy event in their life. I thought it was really interesting, so I wrote this off the back of that. After the happily ever after, women disappear. They are simply cleared from the narrative. We just don't hear from them. They don't come near us, so we peer at them from afar. Consolidation has to be top tier. They adhere to it, only appear to give the all clear. premiere their so-called pleasant and peaceful life. It seems pretty severe, but the reality is in fact quite unclear. People around you don't want to interfere, but we overhear how they persevere through pioneering a new plot, reappearing as a souvenir instead of a volunteer. Thank you. This one's called SCS. We don't have a healthcare system, we have a sick care system, where people are looked after only when they are sick, not to prevent it. It's only when something flares up, glaringly obvious, that they operate on a wing and a prayer. Like a doctor at its wit's end, it's rare. It's funny how it takes a health scare to share fear with someone, to realise that there aren't any spare parts. We stare at our bodies and see the wear and tear of all of those parts that we don't look after properly. It's a private affair, difficult conversations that take place only, it appears, in armchairs. Comparing things makes people despair, so they go elsewhere to live out a nightmare. Only to realise they're going nowhere, but they can do what they can to prepare. It seems like the body's software needs updating somewhere. It's all about welfare and aftercare, so treat the devil may care attitude with some reasonable care. Thank you. This one's called Poems for Us. They don't write poems about us, so I will. They write about self-love and happiness, but we break down our pain, even if they don't understand it. They brag about waking up early. We consider it an accomplishment if we get a good night's sleep. Nighttime is a recap of the day, or past mistakes, or an imagined future, sometimes even all three. They write about avoiding tears. We write about who or what caused them, how we dealt with them, mostly by embracing them. We've come a long way, we all have, but sometimes we remember how tiring the journey can be. They give us a round of applause, but we need a hug to be emotionally caught. They don't write poems like this, so we have to. Thank you. This last one's called Let Love In. They tell me to let love in, but when I tell people how I feel, people don't worry about it too much. They tell me to let people show up for me, but they didn't show up. So they get a showdown instead, asking, where were you, with no response, because no answer is good enough. There is goodness in the world, but sometimes not enough people to remind you of that. Be vulnerable, but don't let people use it against you. I told you in confidence, but lost all confidence when I realised it wasn't private. There's beauty in the breakdown, but the ugliness is more apparent. We move forward, or at least we try to, and are held back to the same place. It's like we let go only to hold on in a different way. We say we learn, but life taught us the hard way. New beginnings acknowledge old endings. Hug people until all broken pieces are fixed. Laugh out loud to drown out the silence of doubt. Being gentle in yourself is so much more important when everyone else is so hard on you. Connect, yes, but know when to disconnect too. Feel the moments deeply. Embrace everything. This is what we call life. Thank you so much.
Before I start, I just want to say it is really wonderful to see all your faces. Genuinely. Also, everyone that's been up here, you've been phenomenal, you've inspired me. Should I do that? You keep making me change my ideas of what I'm going to do, but I'm going to stick to my damn plan. So, I've got two pieces for you this evening. This first one is called Not Dead Yet. Not dead yet, and so I owe you an apology. Honestly, it's been a long time coming. Spent a long time running away, tripping along psilocybin bridges, realizing you're here to stay, and I have to say, even I am surprised by my stupidity. But then that brings me nearly to the start. To say I've been unkind is an understated remark. Often cold and demanding, impatient with our time. I have lied so many times, striving to find the right line to convince myself this is all just fine. And let's be clear, it's not. Lost sight of that. After multiple back-to-back knockbacks, but neither me nor this back will backtrack any further than it takes to stand and state, it's me, I'm back again. Navigating challenges with sight like Biak again, 360 POV, but pleased to say these days I almost always remember my blind spots, as I've come to learn a lot. Drinking drops of light from the sun inside my solar system, knowing I am light years away from the dark side of my moon, but still there is so much more to do. Between me and you, we could go far. Really only now starting to believe in my heart. Wait, I mean path. No, they are one and the same. Became so tired of playing these games until my third eye helped me see right. And as I close my eyes, I find that sight beyond sight. A deeper light shines the way, aiding as I navigate through the dark days. I can sometimes be kind in times where I stumble and misplace my steps, but each not yet makes the hunger for what's next ever better. I have to confess, I am unimpressed with the ways I behave towards you. Cruel doesn't really cut it, but the cliche didn't stop the cuts from coming so many times it made you sick, and I had the audacity to grow sick of you. Claiming to be sick of your shit, how is that supposed to help things? So like I say, it appears, for now at least, I am here to stay, and so I owe you an apology. There are no justifications for the ways I treated you like property. You hurt me, but those acts do not allow nor justify my actions in hurting you back. But I did. I am sick. And you knew this and still stood through all the shit, and here we are. I have broken my heart as I acknowledge the parts I have had to play in your pain. So no more running away. Now I face forward and steady my aim. It's not Cupid's bow, but it's similar. I'm no mortal in Poe, although a shimmer of raven's eye dances inside my mind until it resides atop the chamber door. And yes, at times I waver, but I continue to rise beyond the core inclines and nevermore. Improving aim and stride every day helps me walk side by side with my queen. Perhaps you could call me Oliver, but still I find more marvel beyond Hawkeye's sight. This new bird's eye view brings HD perspective zooming into hermeneutic cruxes, like a litany of cat's cradles cast over skin, razor wire slices entwined and tiring as the cold, as that old way of reminding. It can take some time to get warmed up. By now I thought I'd be a decade in the dirt, and corpses are too cold to do what needs to be done. Already lived a walking dead life, so with this apology attached to outcomes, I turn the tides on habitual patterns, and yes, at times, I lose sight of what matters. But as I manifest the matter of this time, holding accountable hands to the sky, all the drugs, liquid or otherwise, do not serve to wash away the ways I despise myself. So it's only right I turn inside, uncovering ways to navigate through fog and grow through weeds, and amidst this blood nurse stained process my soul feeds and breathes as I seek freedom. A juxtaposition of wanting to end and ending that want. 40 fucking years of feeling uncontrollably lost, so I'm working on defrosting the coldness towards you. Working on thawing out frozen claws of doubt that pierce through. Cold blue flames lighting the way into believing this shit's been okay. So tired of the shame that swirls around in plain sight, smiling just right so things can be kept out of. But there are no pride in hiding such pains, and I refuse to continue this way. So this poem is but another step towards brighter days. See, it's only right to find new ways to fight, because despite the value of 3, and now 10 years past, I believe with all my heart it will be me to lead. I am still here. So instead of reinventing the wheel, I choose to tune into how I feel. Inner wisdom, knowing all along that beneath the rubble is the path to move on. It's astounding how resounding sounds can be when you believe everything you are is wrong. But then it's incredible how indelible the ink can be, rewiring lines of mine to see that to follow your heart and stand with pride and not acts reserved for one specific kind. So as mind's eye spotlight fights lungs, bellowing, heart beating, residing in the grounding nature of being, it feels like a lie to be seeing this life as done. So how about we take it back to stage one? Centered within the balance of challenge, empowering tangible realities and dreams to be managed, I have found magic inside, conjuring light rays as they dance and play through crystalline cathedrals of pain. And as I replace the broken bowls of my faith, the energy this creates, surging, drawn from the core, this act of earthing is akin to rebirth, and through these freshly laid roots, stepping naked and free from this cocoon, no longer searching for what to do, knowing it's not about what's past, but what you choose to do. And I choose you. I choose truth. I choose life over death, since I'm not dead yet. Thank you very much. So yeah, just got one more piece for you. And this one is actually for you, quite literally. This is for everyone and everything. This is called Cheers. Thank you very much. I've been Simon J. Keenan. You can find me at sjk_poetry. I'm really shit at plugging stuff like that, so I feel bad about doing it, but it's done now. So yeah, this is it. Hey man, thank you. I feel it's important to say. I've been writing most of my life, and yet a plethora of reasons have kept me at bay. Away from an audience, away from my voice, often drowning in a chorus of insecure choice, and life has quite recently, over the years, beaten me senseless, at times brought me to tears, but I'm here now, I'm ready, and I'm standing up tall, and fuck these insecurities, I am done with them all. But of course they come floating, all formless and malleable, because that's the thing with bullshit. It's often intangible. And I guess what I'm really trying to say is that I'm no longer hiding, but still slightly afraid. See, I was told when I was younger, you can be anything you wish. And that slow building hunger has now reached fever pitch, and fear is just fiction. It's just tricks of the mind, and you are all inspirational. Something has shifted inside. A bit slow on the grip to pull myself over and past all the shit, but better late than never. Let's face it, it's another cliche, but as a mantra, it helps to get underway. To that path that I belong to. But let's face it, as a mantra, it helps to get underway. To that path that I've longed for, but too long believed is beyond myself, or that I'll never breathe free. So, before I move forward and tackle the world, I gotta bleed outward. Let's call it a purge. I understand now that when everything is broken, it doesn't have to mean that life is now over. Put simply, it's freedom. The mold is now gone, and beneath all the rubble is the path to move on, and who knows what will happen. It may well fall apart, but that path that I have chosen is to follow my heart, and it's taken a lifetime, with occasional glimpse, but no longer will fear chain me up, make me wings. I'm here now. No, wait. I've been here all along. I'm just now up to date, and it's time to press on. So again, I say thank you to all who write, to those who push onward and fight the good fight, to artists, musicians, photographers, friends, to family and loved ones, and once again friends, because you are all worth a repeat. And so much more, and so many without knowing have helped strengthen this core. I realize my dreams don't have to live in my head, my words don't have to just be mumbled in bed. I'm here now, I'm ready, and I know it's been said, but repetition is ability filled with intent. And I'll be damned if I'll hold back, or get knocked to the floor without a smile and a wisecrack as I open the door, and whether I make it or just fade away, I gotta follow my heartbeat and not fall astray. So finally this, with a heavy refrain, thanks to all who've helped along the way. Your passion, your power, your strength, and your soul have helped me to stand, helped me heal, made me whole. Just one of the reasons why I follow my heart. The inspirational people that light up the path. Cheers.
Yeah, so both the pieces I'm doing tonight, one of them I've only performed once and then left it alone. The other one I only finished writing a couple of days ago. So I'm going to try and do them without my phone, but you need to go easy on me. Yeah? They're brand new, yeah?
Exclusive.
I didn't want to do the same ones because I know I've been to Poetics a few times. Anyway, without further ado, the first one's called Retrospective. I'm about to let you in on the past like the grain in Black Mirror. Give you an entire history of me like Liam Foxwell. I swear I fled away from hell. Faced battles with demons I was forced to expel just to find my place in the world. Felt impelled to adopt ideas I didn't even agree with just to fit in with the crowd. But when I look back now, it's hard to believe I almost got roped into some beef over a girl, then tried to be the peacemaker when the stakes were up. I guess I would have done anything for squad except suicide. It was do or die, grow up, lose the pride, choose the grind, wake up, see the signs, reality check like Truman's fine, be clueless, blind or disinfect, improve the mind, and rue the effects left behind like formaldehyde. The beast inside put down, euthanize the gruesome side, find compassion, humankind, because the truth is I grew up in a place where shank holders poked holes in bodies like voodoo dolls, owners putting hope in superstition and bad omens. It was crazy. Back when you set the blade extend from the hand like Wolverine over something that shouldn't have fazed them. I'm talking action so brazen that raging over some weak speech and leaving a blade sticking out of some kid's spleen. That's the reason we had to role play when caught out of ends on some unfamiliar street. Face character assassination, like yeah, it was that deep. Man, it was so peak. We couldn't even afford to be runners when that sort of motion picked your fate in the end like a plot twist, and that's why the performance is so key. We had to have method acting down to a T, like we weren't free from a dress rehearsal until we completely cut from the scene, you see. I'm from a place where you could get stabbed over a phone and some pee, and the roads got redecorated and red like thermal plastic paint whenever someone bled on the street. I've even had the misfortune to see a don literally spilling his guts like he had a secret to tell. It was crazy as hell, hard to stomach like an acid reflux. He got his tummy stuck like a plastic surgery patient wanting to see a change in their health, and survival itself should have been as valued as wealth. Knowing dons would let the blade stretch marks and bellies like weight loss and take off, treat escape like a cakewalk, and later jump online with brave talk. And what's more, these same youths proclaim they worship God while embodying evil like the mum in Conjuring, offering stories of the immoral like a Stephen King novel, untold horror of road wars waged to notch points on ghoulish scoreboards, wages over who would score more like putting the house on someone dying. Think Wizard of Oz, then they'd disappear from the block with a click like Dorothy with ruby slippers and tricks. Damn, it was so wicked, which is scary. I think about how easy youths would grip the piece and end up at odds with their spirit like a Ouija board. That's evil spawn. Draw on hell like demons called, then raise a blade till it caused the blues or forged the cruelest fuse. Dipped in so much fluid that the barber's side by the barber's stool. Now, consider how all these sins accrued eventually lead to train wrecks that derail dudes. I understood from youth I didn't really want to be a top boy if it meant living through a blue story. Worried about being poked like the old prompt on FB or lit up on the block. I stood on Billie Jean, but that was disfavored, obscene. I could have been a resident evil and caused havoc around me like the Mutamisi, but I had to avoid molding myself from bad environments like 3D mapping. It took realizing my life mattered to understand that acting invincible meant I'd end up inanimate, stopped motion, falling over, holding some atrocious notion of chaos commotion, all over some road I never even chose to post code on it. It's known that blade owners overlook the pain carrying brings to an innocent family like Logan. Broken families left dealing with the worst emotions, barely coping, with little hope and a light at the end of the tunnel with no sun, so the darkness engulfs them. They can't picture life without him. They're floundering over a loss so profound, it's the only thing occupying their hearts. And now the son, he's independent, damn. How many more youths have to meet a permanent exit before there's more governmental effort directed with measures intended to do more than provide statistics and metrics? Some intervention invented to do more than just place the blame on families so often neglected. Hence I stand retrospective, accepting that life could have very easily have been different without the support I was blessed with. I'm still overstepping hurdles erected to have my ascension upended, but I'm firmly invested, just as an embroidered crest is. I've seen too many youths fall because the system's oppressive. That's why I consider writing off future generations offensive. Let's help reshape their perspective. I swear the only reason my path's paved now with ambition cemented is because I chose to learn from my past like it was a lesson objective. Yes. This piece is 2 days old.
Fresh out the oven.
No. I think I'll leave this here. Just in case. Maybe even on the notes. Just in case. This is called Deja Vu. Picture the crop without the essence, it's soiled. But if they don't dig the plot, it's a burial. Spot how they navigate what decomposes en route to the top. A grave mistake. Even if the foundations are rock bottom, it isn't set in stone. If the reason alone is known before the seeds are sown, then the greed's disowned before the soul is thrown. Why then would I watch men with evil intent, observe without a reason and vent, when I could be in this region a king with self-belief and a legion of deeds I seize? Any evil in me with autocracy and thee and truly in earnest finding his mercy relief. I once believed I had to hide every emotion in me, but it was only with I believed I had to hide every emotion in me, but knew if I believed it.
You got this.
I used to believe I had to hide every emotion in me, but knew if I had... Alright, I got this. I used to believe I had to hide every emotion in me, but knew if I had the guts, at least I could hide in plain sight like Rick Grimes and Glenn. How do I find the strength? Stay aligned on road that lane dividers all the while depressed. I almost resigned to stress. Had my family concerned to death. When Pops died, let me just read. Yeah, it'll be bad. Let me start. I tried, brother. I'm going to go from the top, yeah? Alright. Picture the crop without the essence, it's soiled, but if they don't dig the plot, it's a burial. Spot how they navigate what decomposes en route to the top, a grave mistake. Even if the foundations are rock bottom, it isn't set in stone. If the reason alone is known when the seeds are sown, then the greed's disowned before the soul is thrown. Why then would I watch men with evil intent, observe without a reason and vent, when I can be in this region a king with self-belief and a legion of deeds I seize? Any evil in me with autocracy and dean and truly in earnest finding his mercy relief. I used to believe I had to conceal every emotion in me, but I knew if I had the guts, at least I could hide in plain sight like Rick Grimes and Glenn. How do I find the strength? Stay aligned on road that lane dividers all the while depressed. I almost resigned to stress. Had my family concerned to death. When Pops died for a second, my faith, it was hanging by the thread. I almost let that test have the devil in me connect like the United Crest, but I'm so defiant, blessed. I promise you haven't even seen the extent of my growth yet, like I am Groot. Understand, I didn't come to lose. I've worked too hard, I really have to pay my dues. They can put another story front and center if they choose. I'm still blowing up from the background like bird told Tom Ryan. I'm a Titan writer. It's this army on me like the way I put giant subjects at the core of my writing. It's frightening how we are so easily blinded and find this and ignorant vibes eventually side with media bias and crime prints and decide which community evil resides in. It's why they assign fixed labels to Islam even though Quran and scripture denies it. The truth is priceless. There are places where Muslim kids literally have to give a peace of mind to find peace of mind. How then could I possibly stay silent when I've seen the corrupt cross the line countless times and disallow lives like a VR gripe? I keep it real when I write, even if it seems it's only the overhyped, trendy and digestible narrative types that make a killing in the end, like 4, 5, 6 in Squid Games. I take to the stage and spit flames in a deranged exchange that gives praise. So why do I feel hate, ponder an ill fate, and unearth wounds deeper than cuts left by switchblades? I could cave like men of past eras, keep this truth hidden in code like Egyptian hieroglyphics. But why would I fall through limits? I'd rather they witness my star rise like the study of astrophysics. Since the beginning, I've been without gimmick. I knew the minute I lifted the pen for this story, I was putting acts through the door like Stanley Kubrick. I created a movement, scene revamped, I was looming. Backbitten for choosing to try and improve things. I guess I left a portion of people bloodthirsty like the congregation of Pruitt. I have nothing to prove. It's deja vu. I've seen this all before like a glitch in the matrix. I'm faced with having to overcome the shade like the people's eyebrow just to keep my sight sound. Vision expressed like brand management breakdowns. It's a piece of cake now. Whether I get the validation or not, my heart will go on. Solidity gone. Routine strong couldn't be wrong. I've learned to handle the weight like a pregnant mum. My motivation is one. It's been the same since the start. It's just how I was in the past. It's as unrecognizable now as a Game of Thrones transformation for Emilia Clarke. I've always been half and half. Caught in the middle like a kid in a divorce arrangement. I'm mixed race, but they say it appears that I'm Asian. What's white privilege to one that's only half Caucasian? Careful statements. I identify as black, but rarely ever make the stages. So how am I still so courageous? Who determines I've made it? Award shows with categorical favourites? Save it. It's these type of politics that turn a dream to a nightmare like a Wes Craven creation. The truth is, I just wanted to change things. For me and anybody else who's had to work double for an opportunity, it's lunacy. The same tomfoolery that has groups believe they can have youths deceived with entertainment speech on a scene where very few succeed. It's proven. See? I've seen how the whole thing can be triggering like R2 on COD. Provisions speak. What's forbidden is less appealing when there's fruits to eat. It's only belief that steadies the overlook like Danny Torrance and Dr. Sleep. I'm tired of putting the work in and still dropping off narcolepsy. I'm past expecting. If the sky's the limit, I'm Luke Skywalker. I won't falter. I'm worth it like a L'Oreal commercial. It's God first and family matters like Steve Urkel. Lip service alone is irksome. What's ambition without purpose? I was really out here trying to uplift more than my circle. I stayed determined, immersed into I've exhausted virtue alert to. I worked out any wrinkle I might have that the gua sha. Before I depart, I'll redefine what it means to paint pictures with words, then rise up off of the canvas like the Undertaker as if I had the whole thing planned from birth.
Everyone did real good, yeah? You heard that I go by the name of leyspeaks, love and light. I've got 3 pieces for you guys tonight. I don't want to do too much talking, leyspeaks I know, but I don't want to do too much talking. But for this first piece, now I would say I've been writing for about 4 years. However, in 2015, just playing about with the boys, I wrote something called Train of Thought. And I thought, let me try this again in 2016. And essentially, I've done one every single year. So my first piece is Train of Thought 2021. Cool. So, somebody was asking me how to mimic my mastery. I told them, you can share my paintbrush, never the artistry. You'll feel out of place like you just popped half your knee, low vegans in a carvery. Like archery, they target me, then go and raise their bars for me. Acting hard to please, but I don't really mind. See, I'ma touch their souls or reach their hearts at least. I paint pictures with blood from the wounds that I'm wielding. You see, art is in my arteries. Some do it with harmonies, while some stretch their arms to Jesus, and some do it with spirits, while some confess the spirits. So when they pour their glass, it's not the only time they're spilling, but me, I take impromptu voyages down a train of thought with nothing but an empty palette and eager hands. Sculpting art, this is poetry in motion. Curating mercurial cures for emotions. See, some things might be controversial and certain things they'll call a conspiracy, but I'm tired of this world and its tyranny. So I say fuck elections, because I don't want to choose between the bear and the wolf over who's going to dinner me. We've got taxes rising, children starving, meanwhile they're spending billions on artillery. Cool, well maybe I should drop a bombshell on a bombing nation. You can rewrite your history and ignore our presence. At the end of the day, you'll always be an abomination. And Black Lives Matter as a movement isn't moving, so I'm not going to represent till I see the improvements. See, to this day, I see police and I struggle to speak. That man surrendered, but you just saw a thug on his knees, performative stunts till another's deceased. That yellow paint lasted longer than the blood on the leaves. See the blood on your hands? Can't be washed off. It's permanently staining at the marks on my brain while I'm sitting on a train thinking about how the working class is now rebranded into paycheck merchants. Dumbed down by smartphones and smart TVs, restricted to credit deals and buy now, pay later schemes. Billion-pound investments are looking down on the homeless. Nobody cares. Everybody's noticed. Proletariats thinking either one can be their future. If you had the chance to speak to either side, would you choose a penny for their thoughts or give some pennies for survival? Then pedal to the middle on your Santander cycle. The rich get richer and you know how the rest goes. It's not my job to save every rough sleeper outside Tesco's. See, now I'm left with this heavy heart because I can give you coins, but I know you really want change. But he's taking notes. I know I am. Because see, despite your misfortune, I want to understand your story. How did you get to this point? What kind of help do you need? I hate this culture which decides to treat you as subhuman because we are more than our circumstances. And we are not our mistakes. Hence, I've chosen to challenge the notion that what you see is what you get. So I may not always have my jeans up to my waist, my music's really loud, and I've probably got a straight face. I stepped into that shop and they treat me like a misfit. No, Mr. Security, I don't need escort into the biscuits. Please mind your business. And yes, I am a black youth, and yes, I'm in a tracksuit, but that doesn't mean I'm going to pull up and attack you. My bro was in a trap store. He's taken to the back room, seen incarcerated. But see, prison is a trap too. Kind of fucked. The education system's kind of mad too. Trash they were feeding us, things they weren't teaching us. Black and mixed students, higher risk of exclusion, and it caused me so much confusion. So fuck it, now I'm speaking up. I'm sorry, careful not to sound aggressive while I ask for peace and love. I'm just on my train of thought. Right, so last Saturday I previewed a track. I am on IG Live, so whoever gets the drop gets the drop, but I'm gonna give you something exclusive. This track is actually dropping on the 31st of December. And my man over here, King Faz, he was one of the people who made me feel very excited about this drop, so I thought, you know what, just for that, I'll give him an exclusive performance.
Okay.
So.
Big up to Faz.
Go on. So, I once wrote a piece called Still Searching for Serenity. And yeah, it was one of the first pieces that I got that really got a lot of my people's attention. So, I really liked it as well, of course, I don't need outside validation, but it was nice. And yeah, since then, you will probably notice the word searching for serenity has come up in quite a few of my pieces. And it's crazy because 3.5 years later, I'm still searching, so here's Still Searching. Rowana. I've been searching for serenity. I know it's a journey. I'm still stuck like. Well, how can I find peace? Huh? Giving everyone pieces of me. Don't care as long as my nieces love me. But what's comfort if you're feeling ugly? A lot on my plate don't feed me though. Besides, I don't know if I'm even hungry. No appetite, should I catch a flight? Maybe I just need to leave the country. Airplane mode or I throw my phone. Astral planes with the Holy Ghost. Ex-love didn't want me home alone. Thought she's scared I'll overdose. Now and again I wonder if she's over me. That's the ego taking over me. I think she like the older me. That's when she tapped my shoulder like it's over, G. I spend too much time in my past while worrying about the future. I'm the victim and the shooter, but I've still got my sense of humor. So I'm still the lit guy in a function. And it's not like I've been hearing rumors, but the problem is I make assumptions. Then wish I bit the bullet sooner. I didn't choose this life, so I'm swallowing my pride. And that's hard to digest, so I open my mouth and I'm covering my eyes. It's not easy to squeeze your heart and your art, but I do, and I make it poetic. So I ain't trying to force you to like what I'm on. Just respect it, so ironic. Struggle to come out on my show, but online I'll shell it. Open mics, I can leave it all on the stage, but to speak, forget it. Now I get it. Looking back, shit was pathetic, but I can't say I regret it. I just wanted credit, so everyone could look around the room like. Headline shows, and this is the growth I know. I even open up to my boys, but I'm still stressed because they open up for me. Comparisons of thief of joy. Yeah, I know. I just gotta focus on me. Maybe then I won't feel inferior. Actually, wait. Maybe I should focus on them and soak up the whole experience.
This poet has an ego
Shit. I'm feeling delirious, but when my insides are doing up backflips, I'm composed on the exterior. Do you know how hard it is to look confident without coming across imperious? See, I used to have dreams of a major success to make everyone wish they treated me different. Now I don't want to make them wish nothing. Word, I just wish they take me serious. It's less about trying to sound cold, more about giving them chills. Because it's less about trying to breathe cold, and more sharing how you feel is kind of mad. I was on overdrive trying to press X, till I found the means to express. Word, now I excel, not trying to shrink in silence, want everything in excess. That's love, success, enough sex, more life, fuck death. I'm still breathing. I've got lost ones that are still breathing, but I know shit could be a lot worse, so now I'm minimizing my own feelings. Just want to be remembered for all the right reasons. I live my soul. Leave a footprint wherever I go. It's either you leave someone feeling whole, or by the time you leave, they're left with a hole. And right when I thought I was flawless, the earth opens up and swallows me whole, consumed in piles of regret. But it's so tranquil after letting them go. It's like my G-Ray said, the truth ain't always necessarily fact. You didn't see 100% of me. Probably like 70 max. There's 30% that we had, because you know this. So let me relax. I don't want to be a people pleaser. Nah, I just want serenity back. What if someone's out there telling people I'm crazy and just how much she hates me? And it's not like I've been hearing rumors, but these kind of thoughts been bugging me lately. Too worried about how I'm perceived. For years I've battled this adversity. Man, I couldn't even quit when I was carrying the weight of the universe at university. So from now, nah, it's just me versus me. Sometimes maybe versatile, but more time maybe versus deep, from mental health to the birds and the beasts, because we all understand to a certain degree. But how will I break it down to my child if the apple of my eye fell far from the tree? Thirsting for women, so I fed their ego. They wanted loving, not from ego. I was trying to be the knight in shining armor. They were holding out for a superhero. Still wondering who's over me so. Sometimes I wish I had no libido. The irony is there's people that want me and they deserve loving, not from me though. See, everyone's a no one to someone. I might have sold dreams, but there's no receipts though. I locked them up, then I blocked the peephole. Got a strong shield like the Blue Avenger. Huff, puff, lose your temper. Met him off, it's a new leander.
Please welcome leyspeaks.
See, it's funny how it took some discovery for me to find out who my friends are, but luckily the period I lost my way is found the same time that I found my pen. No one checking out, in and out again, and they don't give a toss who's doubting him. Pulled out my heart to a silent crowd. That's the only time I'm the time to shout. Otherwise I fuck it out like calm, that's just more shit to write about. I'm still searching. 31st of December, all streaming platforms. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Start their mum's dogs, pet frog. Tonight has been incredible. It kind of feels like you did that on purpose now because this feels like a fitting way to end. But this piece is called Identity, and I kind of wrote it at a point where I was sort of doubting my own abilities. I think it was, and if you know who this is, you understand why. It was after a YA headliner. So I went home just thinking, what's the point of let me try something out, like what's on my chest? And I was sort of just taking in the whole scene and just realizing that we are all special. And even people that aren't necessarily writers, you're not necessarily special in what we do, that doesn't mean you're not special. So we are special in our own ways, you're special in your own way, kind of thing. So, this is Identity. We are, I like that.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Special effects, yeah?
Alright, fast not enough for everyone, though.
We are miraculous wonders, wizards and wonders. That means we're traveling the country and spells get conjured. Bars in abundance, double entendres, won't be divided. Strength in numbers, tens of hundreds, could be millions, one day billions. Actually, wait. Now, maybe not billions, because see, you're not really brilliant if everyone's brilliant. Yeah, like if everyone's extraordinary, then it becomes ordinary, and now I'm getting vexed because I know I ain't ordinary. When I get pissed off, so everyone piss off. 5, 4, 3, 2. Lift off. And if you get restless, no hate gestures. I suggest that you jest with the ancestors. Last time they told me, secrets encrypted. All I can tell you is we've been gifted, divinely assisted. Don't get it twisted, might be the greatest that ever existed. When we touch mic, ears get addicted, rocks turn liquid, tectonic plates on the earth get shifted, spirits get lifted, minds get captured. Come like a rapture, still take pictures. Quick, what's the caption? Come like a sickness, dose of reality. Might want sickness, drowning in sorrow, then cry for a witness. They're drowning in sorrow, your mind and your business. Clowning tomorrow, then writing in scriptures how time can't be bro, then crying for bitches. Please, please. Deflate your egos. We ain't heroes, but we are extraterrestrial, next to celestial, out of this world, but look down on no one. Gotta stay humble, even if that means we've got first class delivery. Why do they think they can label and box us? Don't give us titles like we are some boxers. Am I a poet, a rapper, or writer? Bro, I can be all or I can be neither. I am an artist. I am the hardest. That doesn't mean I'm too special for classes. The greatest of teachers still learn from their students. Me, I'm a fusion. Master, apprentice. See, I need that balance in all of my friendships. Will I leave pen at the end of my sentence? Trust, if I do, I'll be back with a vengeance, because we are magical scribes with excellent rhymes, purest of souls, and the zen never dies, pen never dries, when never I. Sense bad vibe, sever them ties, because we are verbal assassins, perform with passion, don't need laxatives to make shit happen. Line on the prophets in orderly fashion, unraveling truths and we get to rapping. Brothers and sisters, matrix glitches, you can ask Morpheus, he knows we're born for this. Might go to war for this, shield and sword for this, chip on your shoulder because we're the sauciest, hate on our energy, hate that it's meant to be, but all of that hate can't change our identity. I said we are finished.
Come on!
Yeah, my name's Carrie. I'm on Instagram as sideshow_melanin, but it's all ho shit. I'm not a poet or anything like that.
Yes,
So yeah, this piece I wrote for Simon, my partner. So yeah, if I don't look at you, don't be offended. It's just I'm fucking freaking out right now, but it's fine. Okay. We collided in February. momentarily stuck between present and future possibilities, moving together along cosmic strings painted galactically with probabilities, hands intertwined, lines meeting to create fortunes. Fortunately, you're a warming beam and I'm a cool wind. As time rotates and our paths converge, I'm reminded of fireworks, the Big Bang. We collided in February, and that's when life began. Thank you.
Hello everyone.
Hey.
It's my first time here. I've really enjoyed everyone's pieces, like so many powerful pieces tonight. Everyone's incredible, man. Yeah, this has been really good. Okay. Home is people I don't have to explain myself around. I'm seen, loved, and felt. In an alternative reality, Rashford and Saka are made into lofty statues placed in Trafalgar Square. Nottingham Hill happens. Stormzy makes a guest surprise appearance. BBC and Sky Sports are praising Southgate as a genius. 3 bank holiday Mondays are filled with raising the pay of NHS staff. In reality, winning at Wembley is a shadow, a wound, where racism comes from a deeper place of collective grief. We should celebrate our heroes for making us all proud. Football is about faith and unity. It may take you a little longer to find the freedom that tastes like magic. Nobody heals the same way. I'm a man who can be both powerful and soft, and it's taken me a lifetime to turn my hands into a pond made of poetry. I'm still struggling with prioritizing my joys. Masculinity is protective and loving at the same time, whilst the whole world is burning and nothing feels like peace. I'm at my best when I'm dancing and my heart feels like sunflowers. My boundaries are designed to only keep the best things from passing through. I'm worthy of more. The parts of myself I've avoided for so long are now sacred. I pour love and acceptance into myself daily. People say don't forget where you came from, but some of us are born from places of trauma, abuse, and neglect. I'm at peace with the things I once viewed as noise. I fill these lungs with a language of love. Thank you.
When God spoke,
oh yeah,
all of the particles of the universe conglomerated together and bursted into form. And are you not a word that when spoken to burst into form? So who are you talking to? And what word is trapped in your stomach with no God to call it forth? Who are you talking to? And what word is trapped in your stomach with no God to call it forth? Y'all so quiet. I unlock my thoughts and let them run free, void of distraction and off the leash, ferociously dipping through spiritual dimensions, hoping to unlock the clues of my existence while others search for higher intelligence when revelation be higher than intellect, but y'all don't hear me though. Eternally skinny dipping through ponds of reflection, pondering revolving doors, getting nauseous from the spinning, emotionally exhausted from attempting to evaluate the evolution of a queen rising from her hibernation, hungry like I ain't stored enough food for winter, bold like a soldier with a gentle heart but still a killer, reminding myself to stop and smell the flowers that mid-bloom, to be present without worrying about outcomes outside of my grip. If only we would loosen the grip, finger off the trig, free fall into stillness, hopelessly grab hope, harnessing her around our heart like we forgot how her superpowers transform unfavorable circumstances. I'm a loose cannon in the right direction. Said I'm a loose cannon in the right direction, taking on generational demons that haunted the hearts of my ancestors so that one day I can look into the eyes of my daughter and tell her that mama slayed the boogeyman in the closet. And the only demons that she faces will be the ones that she accumulates along the way, but I'll be there for that too. To remind her that she is a descendant of a tribe of unbreakable women, empowered by the same power that rose Jesus from the grave, and that she is favored by her creator even on her worst day. And I make it my business to be present for every fake phone call to Barbie, even in a world of distractions that demands our undivided attention, because this world is full of snakes and villains that were once princesses and princes, but were never a priority when they should have been. But these are just the revolving thoughts of a heart half healed, but willing to go to war for the higher collective Christ consciousness. Hands in the air!
And that's it for Poetics, you don't know. Holliedee, how you feeling? It's the end of the year.
I feel happy, sounds everyone's magic, it's amazing.
Yay! See, that's how it's done. That's how it's done.